What's up, people? Thank you for watching. This is your friend Phil. We're still talking about bad family, and this one's family members gone bad. And you've heard about my cousin. He's its own worst enemy. That's one family member gone bad, trying to hurt you, trying to make you homeless. All from crazy stories from my poor mother who had dementia, which is very tough to back up when, you're trying to pay the bills, keep her sane, keep her fed, everything, because you're living her life. So what I mean is family members gone bad. When family members gang up on you, the ex-wife, which is still kind of around, she was, and you ask, why is your ex-wife around? Well, she was a friend of my mom, and as I was at work, everything was locked up, so she couldn't get to anything. But I did appreciate her visiting when she could, just so my mom could have a friend, because she really didn't. She couldn't get out, and she came to the house, and I was at the point I should have put cameras up in the house, but I didn't. But anyways, when people try and conspire to hurt you, they're just not the same. And here's a quick little story. I remember talking to my ex-wife about my mother's situation. And you could tell that it was like talking to a friend that had changed, because she wasn't just talking, she was probing. And I remember one time, you could, especially when we were married, we spent a lot of time together, you kind of know people. And I remember her saying something about, she would probing questions, and I said, well, I take care of the bills. Her check, my check, we pay for the house because we shared the house. But technically, legally, it was in my name. So, her check would come in, and my mother put my name on it so we could run all this. It wasn't until the craziness from dementia that all the suspicion comes in, and any of you nurses or anybody would know exactly what I'm talking about. But one instance, getting back to the ex-wife, the conspiring, as we would talk, I would tell her, and she would just listen. And I said, okay. So I would talk about, okay, so like I said, I take her money, my mom's money, it goes into an account. She has any money she needs. I take a certain amount of money to help pay the bills, put a little bit for savings. I have my savings, pay bills, pay cars, everything else. It was all organized. Someone had to organize it. And I'm trustworthy. My mother knew it. It wasn't until later that she didn't trust me anymore. So anyways, me and my ex-wife were talking on the phone. And one time I remember her saying, so did you get your mother's bank account number? And I was on the phone with her, and I was so thrown off by that. And I said, what are you talking about? Did you get the money? And I said, what are you talking about? What money? I'm not trying to take money. And she knew the situation. And of course, she was believing all the stories my mother would tell crazy about me. And that I had power of this and this now, stealing money and blah, 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 taking the meal and all the craziness that goes on with dementia. So my ex-wife at the time, comes right out and says, I think you're stealing from your mother. I told you everything. What's going on? And right there, I could say, you're setting me up. And I had a feeling you were trying to set me up for something. So I was kind of stringing you along anyways, because you know each other. So it just got to the point that you can't trust anybody. People go bad. And especially high stress, tense situations, pay attention not what people say. Pay attention to what people do. And I had about 5 years to learn ins and outs of what I needed to learn about trust. Because there's all different types of trust. And it really comes down to what I've learned, what the wording says. Because trust me, you either know or you find yourself out in the street. And I had a lot of knowing to learn. So I tell you, family's great. But when it comes to a stressful time, everything goes out the window. It's almost, you kind of know, you can't have any friends because you don't know who to trust in that time. It's very difficult, and you're at the time where my stress level is out the roof. You got people trying to hurt you. You don't trust people. You don't know who to trust. You still got people that'll talk to you, but you got little things, hearsay, that you hear. You hear things throughout the family. And it's just, and I've said more than a dozen times to certain people, family members, doctors, and I say, hey, anybody is welcome to spend a weekend in my house to see what I have to go through, to see the crazy mood swings, to see the 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, my poor mother would come over to my bedroom, banging on the door and say, I know what you did. I know what you did. And you don't know. You don't know what's going on. You say, Ma, calm down, go back to bed, because you're her caretaker. You got to deal. You have no choice but to deal with it. And that's where the stress level goes crazy. And after months and years of going through that, there isn't a single family member, not the sister, not the cousin, not the ex-wife, not the kids, nobody is even popping out at that door to say, hey, I'll help you. Not one person. That's why you act the way you do. And you're up against the wall. Your back's against the wall. Everybody's trying to hurt you. You're trying to take care of this person, and they're telling crazy stories about you. And you just go through the legal pages and say, what do I do in this situation? I found myself doing that. In every situation that popped up, I would find myself Googling, what if my mom calls the cops on me? What do I have to do? How do I prevent this? How do I do this? How do I get her help? How do I prevent family members from breaking a trust? All types of craziness that you have to think about when the shit hits the fan of being a caretaker for an older person. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It is quite the lesson in learning in life, that's for sure. And you grow up real fast. Not that I needed to, but still. Wow. Huge stress. Huge stress. And I can tell you right now, you don't know what it's really like. You think you do. But until you're living it 24/7, you have no idea what that person's going through. Because every day is different. You wake up to the person, they could be sweet. Then you get a call, and they're screaming at you. I can't find this. You don't know what craziness set them off. And now they know you're enemy number one. You're the caretaker. You're the closest one. So, of course, you're to blame. And then you get all these crazy family members that she talks to and tells stories about. And then it just goes around. They conspire to hurt you in life. So, yeah, it gets nuts. It really does get nuts. And it's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's almost too much to take. I never went for counseling. Maybe I should have. Maybe I'd be a better person. Maybe I'm the person I am right now because of all that. I don't know. Maybe I just said, I'm done with people, period. Maybe that's why I am what I am, because of that situation. Drop a comment, guys. What do you think? You like these type of videos? Thanks for watching.